Armor's not getting back to us. So, but
I sent my
apparently,
payment. She didn't answer me.
for real.
Classic. Well, it's classic, right? They're like, the moment you send the payment, then they don't answer you for like a week, and then suddenly they're like, okay, your shit's ready, and you're like, oh, thank God.
So I've never heard of anyone having problems, but like we can't even get her to answer a fucking text. So
She's probably getting slammed. She gets slammed by like a million people all the time.
all right, so
They'll get back to you.
yeah, well, we're probably gonna go somewhere else. Some dude like apparently offered to just do it, so like we might not even have to pay.
Nice.
So I might have like to refund everyone their money, which will be hard as fuck because like I have to go through PayPal and be like, you get your money back, you get your money back.
Look, I want to show you the chest protection I got, the one that I was talking about. This is the thing that I got.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. So it has the integrated back and coccyx protection. And it has this like a chest plate. I'm probably going to cut it off a bit because it interferes a little bit with like crossing your arm kind of motion. So I'm probably going to shape that down. But I've done some tests with this. This kind of thing is awesome for under your Gambesson when you wear TI. Yeah. And all of the protection is made out of this shit. Right? This D3O stuff. I don't know if you've seen this stuff.
No.
It's like it's like this kind of protection that it's like super lightweight and super flexible, but when it takes an impact, it becomes really solid.
Oh yeah. That's what my fucking I have that like one of the fucking like squid fucking helm padding things. It's
exactly. So it's that kind of thing, but for your whole body.
Yeah.
So I removed the shoulder pads and the elbow pads and shit because I mean armor, right? But it's really good for like torso protection. So I took my Gambesson measurements with that stuff on, and it's like it only gives you like a centimeter and a half on each side. Yeah. So it's just like being fat again when you're taking your measurements. Great. Speaking of which, bro, okay, so now I'm finally, dude, there are 3 days during this week that were fucking hell for me, okay? Because I started my nutritional plan for training again last week. Right. And this week, the beginning of the week was chill. And then like Wednesday and Thursday, bro, all I had was cravings for the worst shit that you should never eat. And it was all I could think about for like 2 days. I could just think about like, I want to barbecue this. I want to make butter basted that. I want to eat all the bread. I want to eat all this. And then finally yesterday that went away. But I was like, the only thing that was keeping me going, I was like, I am going to crush Ringo. Crush Ringo. It's all worth it. Just remember the goal. Remember the goal.
Yeah, it's a great goal. You're not gonna get it, but it's a great goal.
We'll see. I'm setting myself up, putting all the right chips in my corner.
Yeah. So my my girl's husband is he's a actual judo guy, and so he just got him in armor his first time, and like we're working on some stuff. He's now gonna help me with some grappling, and like he was like, yeah, the first time I got in armor, all of a sudden like old school non-sport judo made sense to me, because like they do all this weird like stand-up stuff, and he's like, and like the way they like get separation never made sense. And then I'm like, oh, there's a thing you can grab here in armor. And like and like
the ability to grab stuff like the rail makes life so much easier.
No, he
when you
means
have no
like
other grips.
He's talking about like the fucking wing, right? So like,
oh yeah,
the way they manipulate the gi, he was like it makes sense, but also like, why are you doing all this weird gi stuff? You can grab like the arm pretty well. And then he goes, oh, but like imagine it were armor, you can't, but you can hook the fucking armor super well. And like
I find isolating works really well. You know, like stuff that doesn't work in no-gi because you have to have like a really, really solid grip, or you have to have it pinned in the right way. Yeah. Like in armor, you could just kind of like, you know, chicken wing a dude's arm and he's like fucking stuck there.
Yeah.
You know, like of course, like anything can happen. I'm not talking.
No, right, you're right.
Like,
obviously,
you know, it's like you grab some dude and he's stuck there, and now you have your wrist control, right? And it's like the moment you kind of get, it's kind of like the way armor hooks into each other. It's you kind of get like magnetized onto each other, sort of. You know what I mean? So it's like you get stuck on somebody, and now it's like even you can't let go easily.
Yeah.
Letting go is a bit of a thing. So it's like you can kind of simulate your grips pretty effectively.
Yeah, it's you just have to like, you can get the same control provided you stop thinking, I need a grip to do it. You can have that control at that place. You're just not doing it with your fingers.
You gotta like just be like.
Dustin from the hall, he talks about it is you do it with your other hands, right? So you have your head hands. You have your you grab with your head, or like
grab with your head,
or your
like,
butt hands. Your Everything has hands.
I love that. You use your other hands.
Yeah, it's great.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
that's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah. It's your
other hands.
Yeah, you just use your other hands. Yo, that duels thing, by the way. Have you read the rules for that? The duels league.
The dueling league. I haven't read the specifics of it yet. Did they put it up in the chat?
I didn't see it in the chat. I missed it, but Lan just sent it to me to review. I mean, like.
Oh, yo, send it to me.
Yeah, all right, I got you.
Yeah. I'm very curious.
I don't think anyone's watching us.
So at first, like, I totally feel where you were coming from. Where you were like, why the fuck did you invite me to this shit? And I'm like, no, bro, it's not about that. It's about just being ninjas and just seeing the shit that they're doing and taking their information for ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, well, particularly you're in Canada, right? So HMB USA doesn't mean shit to you.
Well, it's like, I just like knowing. I like having my like brain tentacles in what's 100%. Going on.
Right, and like, so I don't have issues with Daria, who seems to be running it. And like, I don't actually have that many issues. I sent it in the stream chat, which, like, man, no one popped in. This is the first time that's ever happened. I don't think Canada is even like allowed to participate. What?
Because it's all like USA stuff. So it's like imagine it's like a Canadian becomes the HMB like the USA champion. Can that happen?
Why not?
Toronto, because then it's like why
Toronto Blue Jays can win the World Series. Oh well, it's
called
the
Series,
but it's not. It's not the World Series though.
That's like somebody who isn't from the country winning the country's national tournament.
I think that's fine. I think you guys should be allowed to. I think you guys should be allowed to come in. I don't see any rule against it in their thing.
Doesn't it say like national? It says regional duel tournaments, then it says national duel tournaments.
But like,
not an open tournament. Winners of regional tournaments are invited, as well as participants with the highest regional.
But like,
ratings.
there's nothing that says if you read the local duel tournament, nothing says like who can participate.
Well, it says limited to the number of regions: Northeast, South, Midwest, and West.
That's running the tournament. That's the organizer.
But do we count? Like, does Quebec count?
Oh, I don't
Northeast?
think. Yeah, no, I don't think you can run the tournament.
No, but can I go to a Northeast
tournament? Think so. I think, honestly, I don't see anything saying I can't.
I'm so down for that.
Here's the thing. I don't see anything as a Northeast fighter, like I clearly am a Northeast fighter in America, in USA, I mean. I don't see anything saying I can't participate in the South, the Midwest, and the West. I see nothing telling me I can't.
But isn't that the whole,
This is about those are about how to organize it. From what I'm reading, I don't see anything about what it limits participants to. I don't see that.
Can be organized by HMB clubs and independent organizers. Must have official blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, but
if you look
in defense of your argument, it doesn't say that fighters from Canada can't participate.
That's what I'm saying.
But it also doesn't say that
you
they can.
It's right. There's no.
Right? So
it's the.
It implies. I would say it implies more that we can't. Because we would have to have our own thing.
Here's the secondary thing why I think you can fight, though not organize. I think you can fight because if you go to look at the actual official rating systems, they are incentivizing just showing up. You get 4 points just to show up to a tournament, which suggests they want people to show up to more tournaments. And based on the way they're saying that there can only be one regional tournament, that's kind of saying like, hey, we would like you to go to all the regions. Which to me would mean you can go to places that you aren't a member of the region. And you're not a member of any of the regions, so
that's true. So theoretically,
you can go to all
if that reading is correct,
that's my that's my personal reading.
Interesting.
I
4 points just for showing up.
Yeah, which I kind of like. I like that in the idea of like incentivizing dueling. Like that's a reason to go to every tournament. But I don't know if I like.
What's interesting about duel tournament is that you don't need team support. So it's like now, so dual tournament I've always found interesting because it's like how do you set it up to make the travel worth it for people in the first place?
Yeah.
Right. But it's like what's interesting is that you don't need like 8 dudes.
Right.
To go to a tournament, you can just be like, "Cool, I'm going all alone."
Yeah, you don't even need. You don't even. Yeah, you don't need like a
zero
bro
support.
Yeah,
you need zero support. You could just like pick up your shit and go, and just be like.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I think is cool about the idea, and that's why I was like, oh, fucking dual league, like we should have that.
We should. I mean, like this isn't the only people. Oh, Alex is a little quiet. Apparently, I fucked
I'm
with
quiet?
No, it's my end. I turned down the audio out
Because I can change that.
Yo, hey, before we get back to the Duel League, I want to remember to ask you this. June 19th, assuming you're allowed to cross the border, on June 19th, there is a chapter match, but where the Dark Knights, my team, is fighting the Monarchs, Kat and Brian's team. So like, me and Mikey versus Kat and Brian, to like Executioner square off right there. It's also my birthday. So you should come down and announce, and I'm going to try to get Paul to come down and announce as we beat the shit out of each other, and then we all hang out and party afterwards.
I'm super down.
All right, so I got to get
Paul. That sounds like a great time.
I got to get Paul to get Tacit, and then I got to ask Jay if I can be like, hey, I got two guys to announce. Can I just take over your screen?
That would be a great time. I'd be super down for that.
Yeah, so cool.
But it's not looking likely right now.
Don't tell. Nope. Stop.
I tried, dude. I'm trying so hard, but it's like we don't have any vaccine.
What? Canada's getting no vaccines?
Dude, we're like the worst. We're the worst.
How?
You guys, there are so many answers. There are so many answers to that question. It's like one of the biggest deals right now.
Our rollout is going
I'm still under curfew.
Yeah.
I'm still under curfew. Okay, so gyms aren't open. My team can't practice. We can't get together. They're allowing like gatherings for 8 people or less only in very specific circumstances outside. So it's like that's not realistic when it's -20 outside and it's like it's murder outside, right? With wind chill and shit, it's murder outside. -20 for us. I don't know what that is for you guys. It's bad. It's rough.
It's bad.
It's like Texas.
20
it's like
for
Texas
you?
weather for you.
Yeah, -20 for you is like -40 for us. It's dead weather.
It's rough, right? So it's like it's rough. So it's like in armor for a couple hours. It's like not necessarily something everybody wants to do. I mean, the guys from the Yukon would say whatever because that's their their everyday.
They're crazy. Like land is an example of that. Yeah. That explains everything about it.
But it's like it's rough right now. So we have no real plan. The government is saying that by September we'll have access to vaccines.
Are you talking general public or like anyone?
General public.
Okay, I mean that's still really bad.
But like my age category is really low on the priority list.
Fuck. I mean,
you know, and it's like we don't have. You guys are almost 2 million vaccinations per week or some shit.
Here's my question,
bro. I'd be surprised if we have 2 million people vaccinated.
Here's my question.
I'm not even joking.
Here's my question. I am suspecting actually New Hampshire is gonna be like September, fall, somewhere in fall is gonna be when we get access to normal people to just the general populace vaccinated. But we're also saying we get it in June. So like. That's how government works in America.
I want to come there and get vaccinated there.
But no. That's how like is government that bad in if they say September, is that likely or does that mean December? You don't know.
With our government right now, they're embroiled in like so much bullshit and so many scandals, and all they do is make promises that they don't deliver on. And it's like, anyway, I don't want to get into like a like dropping my political opinion on.
I want to hear this though.
I mean, I could. It could become politics.
Yeah,
stream.
let's.
No, it's just no. I just think it's ridiculous. Right now, we're looking at outsourcing our vaccine from India, and I'm like. It's because we had no plan for production. We were buying. We don't produce it ourselves. We're only starting to produce it ourselves. We were buying from like the Swiss or the Dutch or something, and then they started retooling their factory, so it cut off our supply, and then we were like fucking stuck without it. And then the government had like no plan, and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna figure it out. Don't worry. You know, it's just like it's frustrating.
It's just a pandemic.
It's frustrating for the common person. We have 50% of the working population is out of work, and the other 50% is working like double time. You know, and it's like it's rough, dude. It's just rough. And in Quebec, we have a curfew. So after 8 p.m., you can't go outside. You can't meet up with people. You can't do anything. And the government has their heads up their ass, and they have no idea what they're doing. So they're keeping gyms closed, but they just reopen movie theaters, right? And they say that movie theaters can have up to 250 people per viewing room.
What?
But you have a curfew at 8 p.m. Restaurants aren't open.
Paul.
Everybody who works at restaurants, if the restaurant doesn't do takeout, your restaurant is closed. So in dining, you're fucked. So if you're a waitress, you're out of work. Yeah. Right? They just started reopening stores.
All right, I'm gonna stop your political thing because
I'm gonna go nuts.
Because Paul just popped in. What's up, Greg? What's up, Mikey? Paul, I don't know if you heard the thing I invited Bear to do, but like on the 19th, June 19th. It's my birthday, and we're having a chapter match. My team, my and Mikey's team versus Kat and Brian's team. If you wanted to come up and announce that with Bear, and I can get Jay to like sign off, I think it'd be dope. We can party afterwards. It'll be a dope stream. So I'm hoping you say yes.
If I can't be there physically, you can always like tie me into the stream virtually, and then I can do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna not promise to do that because I don't run any tech for them.
No, and also, I'm down to try to be there.
As we've seen, I can barely run tech for me. So, all right, cool. Paul's in. Good stuff. Jesus, fuck. All right, I'm glad the vaccines fucked everywhere.
You guys like I see reports of you guys being like, oh, we're getting like now you're at 2 million vaccinations per week or 1.7 million vaccinations per week, and I'm like, man, like I wish we had that here. If that was here in Canada, we only have like 30 million.
I was gonna say you'd be done like
we'd be done in like a couple months. Like, what is this?
Oh snap. It is what it is, but I think that like so also it's supposed to transmission rates are supposed to go down in summer months. They did last year. They're supposed to do it again this year. I mean, obviously the virus mutates, so who fucking knows?
Well, the variants are like scary AF.
Yeah, true. But hopefully between vaccinations coming out to some of the population, virus going down, we get to a safe level.
I just want the Bill Gates 5G nanochip vaccine.
Exactly.
Okay, so we can just get on with our lives and move into the cyberpunk future.
Track my every move.
Like watch me.
Care.
I'm an exhibitionist. Watch
me. Yeah, like
I want you to have all my personal data. Sell that shit. I get off on knowing you're selling my data.
I honestly do. Like I want Google, and it works for me. No, tell me what I wanted to buy.
I hope there is somebody who monitors my search history.
One person.
They're like watching. Yeah, they're like they're like watching. And they're like, it's all for
you. Right now, they're one of like the
they're
5
watching.
People.
Yeah.
Like, Bear, I see you all the time.
I see you all the time, man.
All the time.
So what are you searching for today?
Anyway, yeah. So I think the Duels League though.
Back to Duel League.
So the Knights Hall is doing their version of it too. The Prowess series.
I know I missed out on it like 3 times now because of coronavirus. Like I wanted to go to the first one and I couldn't, and now I can't go to this one. I see you guys putting on events all the time, and I'm like, man, I want to go sword fighting too.
Yeah, man. I mean, I haven't done most of the events that have happened recently. I feel you.
For sure.
But like, yeah, it's it sucks watching people fight and sitting on the sidelines. It's not great.
I also don't want to get sick and die though, or get sick and not be able to be an athlete.
So my biggest fear personally, my biggest personal fear,
permanent lung damage.
No, it's killing my parents. After that, after passing it on to someone I love and killing them.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too.
Yeah, after that it's it's the like there are a lot of people who are Vince had to get a new fucking heart.
What?
Vince from New York it turned out he had a heart defect that he had no idea about because he's a fucking healthy dude, but like the coronavirus fucked his heart so bad he had to get heart surgery and get a new fucking heart put in.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
Like, I mean, he's alive, but like he went from being this fucking jacked fucking like he looked like I mean short, but like a fucking like not a power lifter, a bodybuilder. He was bodybuilder size. Now he just looks like a dude.
Yeah.
And rough. Hopefully he gets back to it, but like who knows? He had to get a fucking new heart.
That's fucking brutal. Kraken Slayer got it.
Yeah, and he's been saying he's still feeling it. Last I talked to him about it, he was saying he was still feeling it.
For sure. So that's brutal, man.
Yeah.
I get scared every time I get like a little.
COVID sucks. What is breaching? Like breathing? Is that a typo or like? Do you
mean
like
just breaching? Maybe it's like a thing.
Like is he like breaking down doors and like fucking like is he fucking part of a SWAT team?
The SWAT team. Oh god, it's just like so rough.
Okay, well, breathing after COVID. Did you get COVID, Greg? Oh fuck. Yeah.
I read studies that say smoking marijuana helps to like prevent coronavirus, and I've been like fucking. I'm on that train, man.
Yeah.
I am on that train.
Oh fuck. Well, yeah. This shit sucks. Apparently, Greg got it. Paul's saying a bunch of people across the waters have been fucking getting it. It's scary. It's legit scary. But
you go to a big gathering, you know, like not to talk shit, but you know, I've said it before. If you go to a big gathering like Carolina Carnage or some of these events that are happening in Russia and shit, and you don't get it, and it's not like a super spreader event, you guys are fucking lucky. Mm-hmm. You're so goddamn lucky.
I mean, you're rolling the dice. Honestly, it's more you're not unlucky, but like it's a 1, right? It's your chance of rolling a 1. Right? If you get a critical fail, you critically fucking fail. And like,
bro, it's so like, not everybody has good fort saves, bro. Yeah. Most people have shitty fort saves.
Yeah. But anyway, the Duels League. So they're happening everywhere. I like the idea of it. I like their scoring system. I'm gonna link that again in case people didn't get to see the.
I'm gonna just pick that up real quick.
Can I put this on the fucking
Does it show
screen over
scoring
us?
system? Single elimination. I don't like single elimination.
Yeah.
I don't like. Is that like 1 round of 1 minute and 30 seconds or minute and 20 seconds or something? Because I hate single elim. I think that's a bad system.
So
that's why I prefer the IMCF dueling system.
Yeah, I think so. This is HMB, right? They're gonna do HMB shit on HMB. Oh God.
Yeah. It's just what is wrong with it's like I really wish there was a league that did HMB melee rule set with the IMCF dueling rule sets.
Yeah. I've covered your face up on this. No one gets to see you anymore.
That's okay. I'm not worth looking at.
Yeah. I 100% agree. HMB overall, in my opinion, is the better like organized league. But yeah, in general, I just don't like their rules.
Thank you, Mikey. You're beautiful too.
But anyway, so like this is they have their rating system right here. It's 4 points confirmed participation in a tournament, right. 4 points for passing to the playoff stage. So apparently, no, if they had a group stage, they might not have a group stage. It looks like. And then 4 for each stage of the playoffs you go into. And then first place is 3 more points. 4 points.
You represent yourself and then 4 points for 3.
I don't think they have teams for this. Which, like, that's a thing, like, I would like another way I'd like to see it done. I'm gonna fucking bring us back over this.
Well, right, like so team duel events, like where we're like a little pool and we're like, all right, like we go.
like wrestling, man.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So like
does this go back to your tag team thing where you
tag
in?
No, like high school wrestling or high school wrestling.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
I don't know.
I know exactly. I did high school wrestling.
But I don't know if it. I'm gonna explain it for the people who haven't, or in case it's different in the States versus Canada. But in the States, high school and college wrestling matches work the same way. You show up with your team, and then a person per weight class fights. Fight, and then you get a point.
Yeah.
You get. I forget if it's. I think it's
best
like 1
of 5
point,
or something.
1 point per victory, and then 3 points if you pin them or something. But anyway, the point, like, you can build dueling teams that could go and fight each other, and that would be a cool way of doing it. And like, the nice thing about it is if you're a single person and you don't have a team, you can still show up and fight the person in your weight class or your sword combination form or whatever. Your team will lose because it's one of you and you lose every other one. But
what about this? What if you go and it's like it's the way they structure matches. It's like it's my team versus your team, right? And you run through each of the duel formats.
Yeah.
Right, so it's like so you bring like your longsword guy, you bring your halberd guy, you bring your sword and buckler guy, you bring your whatever,
your sword and shield,
shield guy,
and maybe have a fucking even a triathlon, triathlon, maybe even I don't know, like that could be
triathlon is so interesting as a concept.
It is.
So interesting as a concept.
This is why,
and it's like it matters so much because it's like which duel is after which is so important, and like how you structure your approach to the rounds is so like dependent on the weapon that you're using, and it's like how where are you going to try and win, because you're not going to be the best at all 3, right?
I mean, wasn't Ukulov? Wasn't Ukulov?
Not everyone's Ukulov. That's what makes Ukulov. I mean, and he's really good. I think that just comes. I think like everything, it's like the pool is going to advance, right? As the pool gets like your argument about the pool growing, making the ceiling higher. I think that's going to happen too.
Yeah.
As international tournaments open up more, and it spreads from beyond just Russia, you're going to start to see people at all levels, and more specifically the higher level is going to start to advance a lot more quickly. But all of that aside, like if you're going into a tournament like that, right, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I'm not the best at all three, right, but I'm going to be the best at one, and like be all right at like another one, and then be probably like not super good at the third one. Right. So it's like the rounds and shit are super important, and like where you gas yourself and where you push hard, and like what you're, you know, what the rules are. Yeah, so important.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what the thing I posted the other day with like trying to come up with a different like a mixed weapon format, so that you can get some of that same strategy that you get in triathlon without it being the enforced, like it has to be this way. I mean, like your idea of forcing them to change, like I really do want to play with that. If this works well, if people like this and play with that, but
well, okay, so like let's break this down a bit, okay? Yeah, so right. Like let's say you're like, okay, so I'm fighting against Bear, all right, and we could choose whatever we want. So like you're super good at longsword, and we've already fought, and you fucked me up at longsword. Right. So you know that if you're playing with longsword and I'm playing with longsword, you're gonna beat me. So in your head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go with longsword because we can change around and stuff. So I'm gonna start with like what I'm strongest at in this imaginary world. Okay, right, imaginary. Yeah. You know, and I'm like I'm super strong at sword and shield. So I want to go in with sword and shield. And then I go in with sword and shield, and I wreck you with sword and shield. Right? And then you're like, oh shit, I'm going to change. But I don't have to change?
Right.
So you change to something else that you're maybe not as good with, because now you feel like you're in a bad position. And I'm staying with the thing that I just beat you with that I know I'm strong with.
No.
So it's like, I can just not choose to not switch weapons.
Yeah.
And you have the advantage of switching weapons, but you know, you're all like, by the time you choose to switch weapons, you're already going to be at a disadvantage, right? Because otherwise you wouldn't choose to switch, because you would just already be wrecking the dude. So why would you switch, right?
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, like, you might switch because they're gonna switch, and like, so let's using that same example, right?
Right.
Because again, remember the strikes are weighted, right? So maybe you beat me in sword and shield versus my longsword, but you beat me by like 2 points. And I'm like, I think that I'm almost as good as polearm as I am longsword. So I'm like, if I can hit you as many times with the pole, I'll destroy you, because it's 4 points for the pole versus 2 points for the longsword. So like, maybe you're like, I think he's going to change, or you just see me grabbing my pole and you're like, all right, I know my sword and shield game's good, but like it's not quite good enough. So I'm going to switch to my longsword game where I can tag him more and keep it in. And so
see, like it's just my vision of the way I would approach it is like, I would just be like prepared to lose that second round. Because I'd be like, cool, so I just beat him with this thing, he's switching, let's see how good he is with this other thing. I know I'm strong with this thing, I just won a round. So it's like I'm up a round. I can theoretically just lose a round. And even then if I lose the round, I still don't have to switch.
You're right.
And I could still make an adjustment and be like stronger with the thing that I'm all like, so it's like I find that it would just be more like interesting. Not necessarily better, but I think it would be more interesting, because you might force somebody to cycle through something where they're bad.
Yeah.
And you can take the fighter who's, you know, maybe lost the first round, and then he's forced into something where he's good, and the other guy's forced into something where he's bad, or maybe they're both bad at a thing, right? Or they're both strong at a thing. Like I think, or they can make their own choices. Right. So. You know, but you just force them to choose one thing once.
I think what their change in the rule set that like you wanted to make is that by forcing them to change, what that's going to show, like really highlight, is who is the best all around, which is what triathlon is trying to do. So that's a better, I don't want to say replacement, but better sort of like comparative to triathlon. And if the goal is like, hey, let's really see who's the best fighter by by checking all of your, like, across the board, like all of the boxes, then yeah, I definitely think forcing it. But like, I just want to see, what I particularly want to see is how a polearm versus a sword and shield duel goes, and like I just wanted to see rules for that. So like that's what that writing is for, and like. If that still looks fun, I think it's a valid format. And if it doesn't, right, if people do follow to that meta of going, I'm only good at this one thing, then yeah, maybe switching is good. But like also like not forcing to switch allows Micah. If Micah, for example, Micah's basically a polearm guy. He's got some sword and shield. And he's a pretty decent longsword guy, but he's decent. He's not good. And he's and his sword and shield is, I mean, he's picked it up before.
Right.
So like, but like
mixed
so
weapons,
that means...
mixed weapons with the option of force of switching is like is all right. Is all right. Like I believe the rules already allow that. Like for WMFC, I believe WMFC
pro fights.
rules.
For pro fights. This is for duels.
Duels
is a specifically different
So it's
game.
more like so it's more like. So you're not approaching it like a pro fight. You really want to approach it like a duel system, and it's just open weapon format duels.
Basically,
you can just use whatever you want and try to win the duel.
You use whatever, but also we're weighting it so that sword and shield just doesn't stomp.
Because it stomps. That's the problem.
Because
the problem
stop.
You throw one shot, I shield pressure, you're fucked, and I just wail on your legs.
But it only stomps because of the way our basic rule system works. We don't have thrusting, and I'm not actually allowed to kill you.
I mean, thrusting with a longsword from range is really nice when you're stepping.
or a polearm,
get
right?
Around
like,
it, like there's
my default move with a polearm in fucking SCA is smash the shield,
really nice.
Stab you in the face.
Yeah, that's very nice too. Yeah.
So like
I like that. I like that with flat snaps. Also, you throw a flat snap, and then instead of going offside, you go to the face stab, or out of an offside face stab, or always with the face.
Yeah.
A lot of stabbing in the face. Because it's the best. And with a longsword, you could also do moves like, all of everything you can do can end with the.
And like we don't really allow grappling in duels. It's a limited grappling in longsword and polearm, and so that's the thing is that our rule system artificially limits those weapon forms. So I want to add things in that try to rebalance that, and like obviously we're not going to get to the actual balance of what would happen if we were trying to kill each other, because we're not.
Well, I mean, that doesn't really that's not relevant in a sport context, because sports are always limited to like we're not trying to kill each other, we're trying to display prowess, and it's like that's why I try to get away often from the idea of like booherd as a pursuit for the sake of violence, because the idea of a sport isn't to be is that violence is a tool to achieve victory and isn't the goal in and of itself, right? It's like I want to hit you super hard so I knock you out because I win the fight, not because if I hit you super hard I'm gonna like concuss you for the rest of your life. Or like, I'm not trying to self-defense. I'm not trying to take something from you. I just want to win this particular fight. That's the only instance in which I give a shit about you.
I am the objective.
So that's kind of so my approach to stuff is always like be mechanically perfect, because your shit will always hit hard, right? I'm not trying to like go at somebody to like, anyway, that's a whole other thing. The idea I'm trying to get across is that I think what's important is for us always in terms of the rules to pursue the highest level fighting, right? So it's like I just question whether or not something like allowing people to maintain their own weapons is as good as forcing the switch. So
that's the question, right? And like what I would like to see is, right, if we allow the switch, if we only like, I want to know what happens if we allow Micah or like myself. Like, I'm a pretty good longsword guy, and Mike is a pretty good polearm guy, and we allow us to fight each other with our preferred weapons, or fight sword and shield people with their. What does that look like? And is there something there without, like, just on its own? And if there is, let's try to fuck with it. And then maybe you have, just like in HMB, right? HMB has the 3 separate categories and then the triathlon. So maybe this becomes, here's the base and then here's the next level, right?
Right.
Or maybe my rule set's bullshit and we get rid of it. And maybe switching is also bullshit and we get rid of that too. And they're experimental rules for a reason.
I mean, the idea of having different rule sets is just fun, because we can expose different ways you can be good at the sport.
Yeah.
I think that's just interesting.
Agreed. I want to address some things in the chat real quick. Greg was saying a medal for each category, overall points for the team medal on the idea of like singles team match fighting, and I really think that would be dope. And like particularly I think that's dope in like the idea of how you would do it in a national tournament, like come with a team, and then also in the international tournament, which Botan might do. I don't know how Botan gives their medals. Their medal system confuses me.
A lot of what they do confuses.
Mikey says you can come play with his longsword, Alex. So I think he's hitting on you.
No, I think he just wants to duel me with something he's strong at, and I'm gonna say no.
Paul says you and him did a sword and shield, a sword and board versus Paul. We did
Mishran versus
the WMC
Dragon. Yeah.
Is that on yours or his?
It's on his, but we did that and got wrecked.
I gotta check that out.
He tagged him a couple times, but it's just you get in, and the moment you're doing this, right, the guy, it's like you can't swing anymore. So it's like the moment I can step in and do this, you're fucked. So in a duel, I kind of get it, but I can still do that.
You can still do that,
but still get in and then you have less options to get out.
You do, but WMCF, if I remember, they only weighted the polearm as by like an extra point or something, and I think it's I'm doing it by 4 points. Like that's a lot. Okay. Yeah, you have to get 4 strikes every time.
But you could just go infinite on them once you grab them.
Yeah, but if I can get in, I can get 3 butt strikes real quick if I can get on the inside of your shield.
But is that you winning, really? You hit me 3 times, I hit you 1,000,000, and you're like, oh, I win because my weapon is my shots are worth 4 points each. Like,
yes,
I don't know. It's like if I hit you like 17 times and you hit me only like 4 times or some shit.
You hit me with a 2-pound sword, like possibly with all wrist to my calf.
That makes me better.
I smashed your face with like a 5-pound fucking metal.
Whatever. I hit you more. I hit you more. I hit you more.
And then Greg's talking about a thing they did called the Gauntlet. So 5 fights, 30 seconds each. 10 seconds to grab your next weapon. Any weapon of longsword, sword and buckler, polearm, single hand weapon or buckler. You can only use each. Yeah, that sounds fun.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a mix of both. You have to switch, but it's your choice.
I think I'd give a little bit longer on the break, just because, I want people after like the 3rd round. People are gonna be super gassed, and I'd like to have them have a little in the tank for round 5. But I definitely want to play with that.
Rough.
Yeah, 10 seconds, and you're doing something on that 10 seconds, so you really don't get a break. You're going. I can't.
I guess that's why they call it the Gauntlet.
Paul says being good at violence does make you better, Alex. Just different flavors.
It does. It does. I'm not I'm not saying that being strong and hitting hard is bad. Come on. It's just it's the idea of the being strong and hitting hard being the purpose versus winning being the purpose is foreign to me.
This is one of the things that I miss about the Hall doing satisfaction matches, and also we used to do violence. We also used to do way more fuck around fights as a sport, and I think that's a thing that people need to get back to doing. Go fight because you want to fight, and if I'm fighting you or I'm fighting Samurai, who are both very technical fighters, that's how I want to do that. I mean, obviously, it's not how I'm going to fight that fight, because I never fight super technical, but I'm not going to also try to just, I'm not going to tackle you to the ground and punch you in the face. But, if I'm fighting Paul, it might be us, well, he's also a technical fighter, but, which is
Paul's
weird.
Really, he's big, though.
He's big, and, in the melees, he's not a technical fighter, but in duels, he's very technical. It's very interesting.
Because it's the moment you can score points, it's a different game. Because points
does like that too.
But it's like smacking people in Buhurt. I was thinking about this a lot recently, right? And it's smacking people in Buhurt is only important in a small number of circumstances, really, right? Because the idea is the takedown, and most hits you do are ineffective. In entirety, right?
100%, 100%.
So it's there are only a couple of strikes and a couple of circumstances that are important. So you don't really need that kind of technicality.
With the one star,
there's an asterisk. Yeah. There are a million caveats.
No, there's one big caveat, and the big caveat is in our current tourney system. Our current tourney system doesn't provide the type of long-term damage that you see in I was talking about this the other day with my girl's husband, Jason. He's who is the the Spider Silva, Anderson Silva. He used to, when he would be punching people, if they had too tight a guard, he'd stop aiming for their face and just punch them in the fucking hands till their hands, like their arms were like too like bruised to either stay up or like they'd flinch away and they'd be like, cool, now I can punch you in the face.
Pop.
Right, like that type of long-term damage is not really possible in a 2-round 5-minute window.
Correct.
And chapter matches are currently the only way I know of that really provides an incentive to do anything else, but I don't know that the sport might not come up with other places where that incentive is brought in. So,
I mean, that's what pro fight is about, right? Like,
true,
like
true.
when you have like 3x3s and 5x2 and shit like that. Like the idea. So like like we're looking at our fight, right? And it's like in our fight, I don't think like at our weight and our power level, I don't think we're really gonna hurt each other, right? Like it can happen,
bro,
but
I'm
I don't
literally kill you.
Yeah, you think? I'm pretty sure I'm coming home with your scalp, but realistically, if we're talking in terms of like athletics,
yeah,
versus the armor and stuff, the likelihood that we're gonna like murder each other through armor is low, because that's what armor is good at. If the heavier we are using the same thickness armor, the more that likelihood increases, because the amount of weight and momentum behind a strike and blah 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 blah. Right? I'm talking about hitting through on armor. I'm not talking about gaps.
It's why those knockouts like Levikov's head kick, and was it Ukalov who knocks the dude out on the ground?
Yeah. No, that's the other guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But that's another dude. I watched that fight with Paul also.
Yeah.
Or no, we watched that fight together.
We watched that fight.
We watched that fight together.
But yeah, like that's
that's rare.
Yeah, they're so rare, and
that's why it's like a thing.
So cool, but like
very rare.
Exactly, and it's not rare in the way that a knockout in an MMA fight is rare, which like that's still rare, but you expect to see at least a knockout per card. And the knockouts I've seen in night fights tend to come from people just not being able to like. Really,
they just get exhausted.
It's a gas. It's a gas thing, and like standing there getting hit, and like they might, if they weren't getting hit while they were gassed, they might be able to stay in it. But
you see TKOs.
Yeah, exactly.
TKOs, but you don't see KOs.
I've seen
KOs are very rare.
I've seen 2.
I've KO'd somebody. It happens, but it hasn't been in a one-on-one. It's been like I run up to him and I axe him in the face, and the guy goes boom. That's different. That's not the same thing. No. And even then, that's super rare.
Right. And usually that's not even an actual knockout. Rare. It's a pain response. It's the body shocked. You got a neuroresponse, and your body's shocked and falls.
Yeah,
and the guy's very rare on the ground. You don't have You don't have those knockouts where dudes are actually out after they fall very often.
So it's like that's something that I often cite as being one of the reasons that our sport isn't more popular, because it's very hard to communicate in a direct kind of a way what shots matter.
Yeah.
When you're watching like two guys pro fight each other and they're smacking each other,
people love headbutts.
The spectator,
love headbutts.
Headbutts are good. I made that argument that headbutts are good, and a bunch of like guys from Ukraine were like,
But your argument was not that they are super effective; is that you're active in the clinch. That was your argument.
Correct.
That's the main reason I like knees. It's the main I don't like
because it's true.
Knees, I think can be more effective than, and we've had this argument. And you came a little bit to my side that occasionally a knee can work.
Yeah, I agree with you now.
But it's rare. Again, it's rare. Knockouts.
They're mostly shitty. They're mostly shitty, but there can be good ones.
They're mostly ways to stay active in the clinch. That's what. That's what.
The thing about the headbutt though is that the moment you allow a headbutt in a sport like MMA, it becomes all about headbutts. That's why headbutts are not allowed. No, but for real, that's why headbutts and shit like that are not allowed. Okay. Because if you look at Lethwei, right, which is Burmese, I brought this up before. Like the whole sport is dominated by headbutt knockouts because. That's what the thing is, because the moment you allow headbutts, you could grab somebody in the clinch and then fucking smash them with a headbutt, and the front of your skull being one of the hardest bones in your body, like you are gonna people get wrecked by that. People get wrecked by long range headbutt knockouts.
Yeah.
Where you like lunge at them with your head and knock them out. I'm not even joking. Like that shit wrecks people. So if you can smack somebody super good, I'm sure like that can suck.
Maybe it might be the thing. It doesn't work yet because it doesn't work yet, not because it doesn't work. right?
Just like have this part of your helmet be extra thick, you know, and then like have extra padding there.
Put a spike on it and
go
through
spike
that.
on it, like it's just like a little just a little protrusion. You know, it's like invisible. It's just you just know that the armor protrudes a little bit right there.
Oh
so
my
god.
Yeah, I mean,
a Triceratops.
This is why I'm saying we need to get rid of that fucking AC bullshit so we can do weird shit with our fucking helms.
Triceratops armor. Triceratops armor.
Paul says he wants to make a trophy for this fight.
It's gonna be a good fight, man.
Dude, I'm so excited for this.
Paul, if you're doing commentary on our fight, you should do like a good commentary. It's gonna be like a good fight.
I think you
don't like ruin this with troll commentary.
When does Paul do troll commentary?
That's what he was saying. He was like, I'm gonna troll these guys. The whole commentary is gonna be troll. And I'm like, give us a good commentary, man. Give us like a good quality technical commentary, so I don't have to do my own commentary of my own fight in mute.
Like you're not gonna do it anyway.
I am, but
Yo,
Mook, I'm a professional. He says.
Let's watch this fucking. Bohurt put up the 12v12s as a separate thing. Bohurt League put up the Carolina Carnage 12v12s.
I was saying this before in a Discord chat, but like, if only IMCF was doing that. Wouldn't IMCF be more popular if they were like doing that shit?
Yes, if IMCF was organized like HMB, they'd be more popular.
Oh my god!
But they're not.
So okay, Ringo, I've been thinking about something lately.
All right.
I've been thinking about something lately, and I'm gonna make a controversial statement.
Do it.
Okay, and I'm ready for you to be like, no, Bear.
The link is in. Okay. The link is in the chat, by the way, for anyone who wants to watch. What controversial?
Which Mikey, you're gonna have to link me a Boohurt Discord. But okay, so I thought about it a lot lately. Okay, and I think that rail grabbing is a better rule than no rail grabbing. And the reason that I think this, is because there is less ref involvement.
Yes.
That's the only reason I think this right now. Not because it makes you a better fighter, but because the amount of times that I see fights broken up already with rail grabbing allowed. And the amount of ref involvement that there's constant granular ref involvement, but the manipulation of the list and shit and like all of this, and it's like you get this and then you have 3 seconds, but it's like who's counting and like who's watching, and it's like you're like this. It's so I agree with
the caveat. So,
all right, but let me just finish. But I think
you did it. That was it.
You're right. Okay, you're right. Okay, go for it.
Finish.
No, but that was pretty much it. I just think that I think that less ref involvement in all situations is better.
Right.
And I think that rail grabbing, even though some people may say about whatever like boring parts of the fight, if you look at really exciting fights with really high level teams, like you don't see like these super boring moments where they're just fucking standing there like this.
There was fucking Old Tower just had one that fucking went to the end. Like they timed out. So old friends.
Maybe sometimes. Maybe sometimes.
Yeah. No,
maybe sometimes.
What do you mean sometimes? The vast majority. All right. I'm gonna go pull up. I'm gonna do stats.
I just did a review. I just did a review of. There should be stats.
I'm gonna do real time stats.
And then
I'm gonna fucking. But
so
no,
what about this as an alternative? No rail grabbing, but you have like a cage that's higher up than all of the fighters, and you can lean on it, but you can't like.
That was my caveat. Is that my 2 caveats are that either A, you no rail grabbing along the way that you have it in cage, no grabbing the cage, which is like you basically let it go until like someone is constantly violating it, and then you sit them for that, or you penalize them for that. But yeah, let people grab the rail to save themselves, let people grab the rail to do throws, but make sure they're doing the thing where they're letting it up. I think that would be better than the
too much ref involvement, because you're constantly going to be like,
do you think there's no, that's not what they'll do. No,
they'll absolutely do that. They'll be like, all right, 1 2 3 4
stop
5 all right, you're abusing it now, stop it. And then you'll be like, oh fuck.
It's the I'm saying it has to be done the actual way MMA people do it in what the fuck is in the actual way refs do it in UFC, right? Like they'll yell at you for grabbing the cage like 6 times and they won't do much, and then maybe once they'll pull your hands off of it. And then they penalize
if your fingers are in the cage.
Yeah, they basically just say stop using it, and like no one really abuses it in MMA, because if they did, they'd get seriously penalized for it. So you're super light on it, and then you make it, and then when someone abuses it, you bring the hammer.
It's because it's too hard because
No,
it's like
it's
if I'm
not.
allowed
It's not.
so if
It's not.
like if I'm allowed to do this, I'm doing it all the time.
But if you're doing it all the time, it'll be an easy sit. That's an easy sit.
But why?
Because you're doing it all the time.
But why are you sitting me?
Because you're
That's an arbitrary metric. How much is all the time?
What is delay in the game? What is delay? Wait, stop. What is delay in the game? What is delay game? Arbitrary in sport, like every sport has a delay of game rule. How do they do it? Because delay of game is an arbitrary metric. What is intentional grounding? It's an arbitrary metric. Arbitrary metrics are what refs do. That's what refs do. Like, I get your point that the way it currently is called is bullshit, and I'm not saying that our refs are good enough. I'm saying if we get MMA style calling, it works, and that may include waiting 10 years till we have better marshals. But my second caveat is the one.
Okay, no, make your second caveat.
My second caveat is the one they're saying in the chat, which is and the one you just said, which is change the way the list rails work, right? So Greg is saying making them super low. You said make them super high. Both work. You know what I'm happy with? You get rid of lists and you have a fucking.
You have a pit. The pit.
No. I mean, yeah, the pit, but that's the same as a cage going all the way up. But no, you have an out of bounds, and in the out of bounds area, you have like a yard that you can go into and come back in. And if you spend if you deliberately stay there, you get sat. So this way people can't just push you into it.
Okay.
And hey, the floor is lava, sucks to be you. It's if your fight goes into it, the two of you need to break up and get back in the list.
You could go better with it. You could go better then. And you could go like Mortal Kombat style, where it's like a raised platform, and you get pushed off the platform.
But then the meta is just going to be pushing people off the platform.
Ringouts why not? Like ringouts are a thing.
I think that's as boring as rail grabbing personally. That's for me.
Because you just try to push people out, I guess. Because it doesn't even become about throwing them out. It becomes about just like
push. It's just a push.
Yeah, it's a push game.
Of the fucking chat went off. Oh no, it didn't. It looked like it went off the hook.
It's like like it's just what do you want to show people? I think is a big part of it too. How do you want it to look to people? Right? Because you're always we're always talking about costumes and shit, and we're always talking about cameras and shit, and we always argue about rail versus no rail as a martial arts thing. But what do we want it to look like?
Here's my view of what you want to look like. You want to look professional, and by that it means just well put together. We don't need to try too hard to be period authentic. We just have to try to not look like me in armor. Right? Like
patchwork.
Right, in the same way professional teams look professional, and your fucking rec league team is a bunch of dudes wearing whatever shirt they pulled out of their gym drawer, right?
Right.
That's pretty easy to understand. The warlords have tabards that aren't really all that period looking, but they look pretty good. They're not and they're not super not period. They're just not. They're
not heraldically correct.
They're close enough, right? And that's
fine. I have no problem with
honestly, that. I think if you have a tabard that looks like it's cut well and well made, but looks absolutely nothing made in period, great. If everyone's
I'm not really partial to the having heraldic tabards. I think that rule is a little silly. I'm down with people to have custom tabards and do whatever you want.
I didn't even know that was a rule until you just said that.
They just came out with a tabard document about the rules of how your shit has to look and.
Every time HMB does something cool,
that's another thing though. That's too much rules.
Every time HMB does something cool, they cut up all the stuff for Carnage.
So
they're releasing Bohurt Prime individual fights. That's such a good idea. They're doing it, and then they come up with a fucking tabard rule. Why do they hate me personally?
I would think it would be really cool to have all kinds of custom prints and shit, and be all fucking, look cool. There's an amount of cool that we should be allowed.
So that's my aesthetic, right? Like you said, look cool, professional. That's my base aesthetic on what we should come out looking like. A rust rule, as a person who's covered in rust, I have no problem with the rust rule. You can't go on the field if there's too much rust.
It's also not healthy.
Yeah.
For anyone. A little disease factory just running around there.
If you don't have a tetanus shot, that's on you.
No, it's I hit you, and there's just a little puff of rust that comes out.
It looks so cool.
Everyone breathes that shit in.
It looks so cool when you hit someone.
But he gets lockjaw.
Anyway, right, and so So that's the basic aesthetic, right? Like, if you want to make it no rust, if you want to just look professional, for fighting, I want fighting that the rules prioritize people fighting in the open and using their weapons, right? The main things that separate our sport from other sports are it's not the armor, it's the weapons.
Yeah.
And it's not it's the people. There's a bunch of people. So we want
teams.
So I think we want more tactics and more weapons. Right? The armor exists to stop the weapons from killing us.
Right.
That's like
more tactics is because we're bad.
we are bad.
It's because we're bad. It's because we're bad, and it's like if you look at how I always go back to them, because right now that's where the best fighters are. But if you look at like the Eastern Europeans and the Russians, like you see very, very well developed, very well thought out tactics on the regular, just their positioning and shit. Their positioning and shit. And it's not about being crazy. It's about like the small things that you do that bring you big rewards.
In the fives, but the main thing you'll see is that there tend to be individual tactics mostly, and then occasionally they'll do a cool 2-on-1 thing. But like it still mostly breaks down to 5 1-on-1s. And part of that Craig was saying is that they know that on 1-on-1 they can survive, and that keeps someone from being free. So like
I make that point as well. Is that like what's really good about a team like Partizan is you're like, cool, all of my dudes are super strong wrestlers, so I can just kind of like rely on all of my dudes to manage their own shit.
Right.
And then the moment one dude wins a fight, like everybody else is going to benefit because they can start running around and taking advantage of their
that is a solid tactic. Like it looks like it's not, but it actually is.
That's what I'm saying. And I was looking at that fight and I'm like, man, it's like if you're saying this is boring, it's because you're not doing justice to what's happening. You're not watching what's going on.
All right, so again, back to talking with my girl's husband. So Jason is a competition blue belt. So like goes to competitions, wins them, but he's not a fucking like top level dude. He's just like good, solid middle dude. But like well into the game, has been doing it for a while, and actually wins some fucking shit. He will admit that watching BJJ is fucking boring as hell to basically everyone else. Like he's like he loves the leg lock game and understands why everyone hates it, because people sit down, grab each other's fucking foot,
and then roll around and try to like
just sit there. Or just sit there and stare at each other, waiting for someone to fuck up. And he's like, someone's gonna go home on a stretcher because his foot's about to break off, and like so for him it's super intense, but like it's not for everyone.
It's because
else.
It's not in the public consciousness in the same way that getting knocked out is.
Maybe,
right? Like,
but it's also
because everybody can relate to this being something that hurts, even if you're not like involved in fighting. If you have no knowledge of fighting, you know that getting punched in the face sucks and you don't want it to happen, and you know that getting kicked sucks and you don't want it to happen, right? So it's like those things provoke visceral responses, and when you see it happen in sports, it like conveys something you can understand directly. But when you see that in armor, it's like you don't see anybody get hurt.
Yeah, there's the lack of spectacle on the hit, and that happens, right? So one of the things I've noticed is that the first time people watch, they're like, "This is crazy," and then they watch a little bit more, and they're kind of like, well, "This is it." And like it's how do we keep people from falling off on the "this is it" is how we maintain fans, and I think the way to do that is try to make the play itself more exciting, and I think the way to do that is as we get better, I think the Partizan method will start to fall off because the other guys will be almost as good. And now you don't want to do this because it's a fucking
but you just have to be better. But you just have to be a little bit better and get 4-on-5. And then
like you might not. Once it gets to a die rolls chance, you shouldn't count on that. You want to create a better opportunity for yourself.
Well, that's why you have to be tactically more sound. Because if you look at the, I mean, okay, to be fair, in in the Partisan versus White Company fight review I just did, to be completely fair, it did break down to that in both rounds, where it was still 5 1-on-1s, and it was like one dude wins his wrestle, and then now they have 5 on 4, and they go and they just wreck because they have one dude who could just go up and just help everybody, and you just it's at the highest level, even at the lowest level, it's like so hard to win a 5 on 4. It's like one of the hardest positions of all positions to be in.
Yeah.
So
I think particularly when rail grabbing is a thing. That's another reason, is because rail grabbing makes it better for basically defense. Like, it's easier to stay up. It becomes more of the attrition game. So
I think removing rails as a thing you can either grab onto or is too tall or something is going to be ultimately the best solution.
Again, the chat just brought up that they're talking what about like a 2 foot wide top rail? That's what Greg's saying. And
some people have been saying that.
Yeah, like
some
if you
have been saying that.
Like I mean, maybe 2 isn't wide enough because Paul's like, I can get over that, but like 3 feet, like fuck it, why not like just go out, build a fucking countertop. Like, and then you can put your arm on it, and it will still hold you up, but you can't do the fucking.
I mean, I have no problem with this in terms of because this doesn't do the same thing as this does.
And this is why I hate that IMCF wanted to make their rail grabbing rules so like, if you just make it something simple like your hand can't go past the plane, and if it does, we sit you. That's easy to fucking call. But they were like,
too much ref involvement because they're always looking at you, and then they're
maybe
warning.
No, don't warn. Don't warn. Just sit them. If it goes over, just sit him. Just
make the wall just a little bit higher.
Yeah, I mean, like
electrify the top of the fence. Like, put homeless spikes on it.
Right. That's a way of solving it. My point is, IMCF wanted like I hate the way they kept trying to do it, where we're gonna make weirder rail. Like, they make the rule harder and harder to understand, and then eventually they're like, well, you can't grab it at all, but you can, but you can't.
Yeah.
And like that,
and then they put out a diagram, and their diagram was like, you can go like this, or like you could be like, you could be like that, but you can't be like this. Simple. And like your hands and your fingers are like this, and you can't be like this.
You can have a simple thing. If your hand crosses the plane in either direction, so it comes under and up, goes over and out, sit. That's simple.
Oh, but he pushed me. He pushed my arm down.
Doesn't matter. He pushed your arm down. You're out. Don't fight on the rail. Boom. Perfect. Right? Like that. It's don't give excuses.
Grabbing dudes and be like, huh,
right?
Down.
Like,
huh.
Except that's super hard. That's way harder than pushing someone out. Like, you can't. But like, and also, no one's gonna just hang out on the rail the way they do if they know their arm can just be chicken winged over it, right? You're gonna want to avoid the rail more.
It just has to be removed as an equation. It's too much. It's too much for
me. It's not.
It's too much for me.
You say that till you say that till my rule gets fucking adopted, and you see that it actually works.
Then we're gonna be fighting. I'm gonna be like, Ringo, haha, get wrecked. And you're gonna be like, no.
Yeah, but did your arm go over when you did it? Did your arm go over?
No. I just pushed you down just a little bit. I just pushed you down just a little bit. I was just into the lava.
Can't elbow hook on a wide plank. Yeah, that's true. Like, the wide plank's probably a better overall solution. But that requires people to be able to make very specific lists, and like, that's hard.
Yeah, small list is good. People get like thrown over the list. That can be pretty cool.
That's cool though. That I think that also goes back to the push.
I didn't have a problem with chicken wing though.
Chicken wing was fine.
You know what? Like, honestly, because that was relatively easy to call.
Yeah.
Because you can see this, and then this as you go down.
That's literally what I'm saying.
Like, so it's like, this is not so bad.
But here was the problem: is they stopped calling it as chicken winging in Denmark when the Ukrainians showed up, and then all of a sudden they were doing a very specific thing. They were bringing their arm over the list, but not back under, right? So it just went like that. And they were like, no, we're not grabbing it. And then the refs, who all beforehand had agreed you could chicken wing, but you can't go over, were like, no, that's fine. And I was like...
Yeah, I remember now people
what?
Are doing that. Yeah, you're right.
I was fucking reffing there and like being like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And then the head marshal being like, nah, that's fine. And like, what about when you told me it wasn't fine? Like... 2 days ago, buddy. Which is my favorite thing about people talking about like HMB being corrupt, and then like as if IMCF doesn't have the same problems, provided we're not talking about the early years when like the mob did appear to be involved.
I wonder if one of the ways to like convey better to players what's going on, instead of having just like an announcer, if the ref, like, you know how in soccer and in football, like refs have a mic, and when they make calls,
Yeah,
they like make
we
a
need
call
that.
that
No.
everyone hears, right? So it's like blah blah blah, a fight stoppage because of this reason. This
Right.
fighter awarded this. Fighter
So,
X is down. Point
again,
to blah blah blah.
yeah, that's it. That same thing we were talking about forever ago, where like if you're gonna stop the fight, stop the fight, right?
Yeah, I don't like partial stoppages where half the field is stopped or some shit.
Exactly. That's what we started doing at the hall, and like when we do it, we like if, for example, I'm the head ref and like Nash is my assistant, or vice versa, right? Whoever the assistant is can make a call, and they stop the fight. And then the head ref goes and talks to them, like in football, and goes, "What happened?" The guy explains it, and the head ref decides whether they actually want to make a penalty or not based on that. Then explains it to the fucking to the audience. So like that shit seemed to work fucking perfectly every time. It's almost like the way professional sports works. It's wild.
It's almost like the way professional sports works.
I'm gonna put on this 12v12 thing though. Did you?
I want to show you something actually
No.
right before, if I can show you something.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's like, because I've been thinking about this for this moment for a little while. I'm looking for it right now. It'll take me just a second.
All right.
Going to wherever it was in this video, and I want to show you. Yeah. Okay, I found it, and I need to show you this. Okay. So. Okay. So I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna put it in the Twitch chat so everybody can follow without lag if they want to.
All right, so we're gonna watch this video?
Yeah, just indulge me for a second, okay?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna watch this video, and let me know. I'm gonna wait until you have it loaded up.
I have it up and ready to watch.
Okay, so it's at 4 minutes, right?
Yep.
So before you start it, look on the right side. You'll see that black fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, ignore that guy. That's not who I'm talking about. Look at this ref. Okay, just because I wanted to draw your focus. There's a ref all the way on the right side of the field. If you look to the black fighter,
he's got like a white sleeve.
Yeah, the white sleeve, okay?
Yeah.
I want you to watch this guy, and he's going to run down to the bottom of the list to start reffing, and watch the situation that unfolds just around the ref. That's totally permitted to happen, okay? Just watch, okay? So let me know when you're starting.
Ready? I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1.
All right, just watch what happens, okay? So the ref comes down.
Yep.
Okay, and starts getting into the fight. Look at the other fighter who comes around and starts throwing.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the other fighter, like that fighter's throwing, the fighters who are wrestling just kept wrestling over the ref. They just kept wrestling over the ref.
So let's go back to 4 minutes, and I just want to watch that situation unfold again. Okay. Right. So let me know when you're starting.
Oh, yeah, ready.
Okay, go for it.
So like the black guy comes over, the ref walks in, taps the dude, pulls him off, and then
the fighter. The fighter comes in and just starts swinging, standing right beside the marshal.
I think he's touching
throwing
him. I think he's touching the marshal. He's touching him. He's literally got his shield on him.
I did a review on the fight. I did a review on this fight, and I didn't touch this at the moment for some reason. I didn't go in depth into it. Yeah, like I thought about this after, and recently I watched that on repeat. Okay, I watched that moment like for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and I was just breaking down all of the shit that was happening around, trying to understand. And then I started to realize that happens in a lot of fights. That happens like all the time, where there's a ref who comes in, and the ref is like blah 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 blah, and then some fighters stop, and then another fighter rolls in and stands right beside the marshal and starts throwing shots on the dudes while the marshal's talking to them. Right? And that's why I've been thinking a lot more lately. Like, we need rules that remove martial involvement as a factor in engagements, because that keeps happening. So when a marshal gets involved, the whole fight has to be stopped.
Agreed.
Because what's stopping people from fighting up there? What's stopping people from coming in and starting to fight right beside the marshal while the marshal is adjudicating this one thing right over here, and then the marshal is exposed to insane danger in that moment.
So this is insane danger, and also like, let's say the marshals, we armored the marshals, or like they were just like, we don't care about our lives, right? Like they're just like, we all want to die.
We don't care about our lives is what we just watched. Marshall's just like blah 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 blah. The dude's like, get that.
So like, but it's also unfair to the fighters, right? Like, there's now a person in the way who you're not allowed to hit. You can't and like, this is this weird moving obstacle But like it just doesn't. I think it's.
And she's standing in there, or he's standing in there, putting his hand in there, and the fucking dude is throwing it, almost hits him in the hand, and the ref doesn't even like. Is just like whatever, and the marshal outside the list who's looking is like whatever, and the center field marshals are like whatever, and there's a whole other fight. There's a whole universe happening.
Over there.
You know, like fucking planets are colliding on the other side of the list. Okay, and this one marshal is like just like. You know, in imminent danger of getting annihilated, while these two dudes are like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, they're just like, all right. It's yeah. So this is going back to what do we want to see from the sport, right? First off, I don't want to see marshals. I want to see refs. Like like every sport basically has, maybe not every sport, but like mostly they've adopted the
and then the marshal sits a guy. Sorry, I was just watching. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just watching again. No, I was just watching it again. And then at the end of all of that, the marshal sits the dude he was talking to, and the other guy just walks away.
Also, that guy who went down, right? The black fighter who went down, the marshal stopping was actively involved in the play that put the black fighter down. He has not stood up. He's not stood up.
No, so it's like he goes down, right? And then the marshal is talking to the other dude after that whole encounter happens.
It's wild.
And just downs him. I don't believe I didn't talk about this. That's fucking bananas. What the fuck is that?
It's fucking Ren Fair bullshit. What they're trying to do, what HMB wants to do, is be a festival. They don't want to be a sport. They want to be that's unfair. There are aspects in HMB that want to be a festival. They don't. There are people who want to not stop the fighting at any cost. They want to be this weird tourney aspect, and like, bruh, be a ref. Stop fights. Talk about it. Look like a fucking ref. Don't just look like a random dude out in the middle of the field. Don't just be a random dude out in the middle of the field wandering around.
So when you guys stop fights at the hall and you stop the whole fight to involve a ref in something, how does that go down? Is that like what happens in those moments?
So we yell stop fight and everyone stops, right? So, we also blow whistles, and like, so a bunch of people have whistles, and if like the head ref yells stop fight, everyone who has a whistle will blow it, or if the ref blows the whistle, everyone and like then we try to stop it, and like if any action happened after, we try to put people back where they were, but like that's obviously very hard. Right.
So do you separate people and they start again? Are you changing situations, for example?
Let's say we have a 3-on-2, and one of the two of the three are holding one of the two in the corner, and the other guys are paired off. And one of those two guys holding the guy in the corner, his kneecap falls off, and we yell stop fight so that we can sit him. But like while we yelled stop fight, these two dudes broke apart. We'll try to be like, no, that happened after we yelled stop fight. You guys have to go grab each other again, and we're gonna try to put their arms and like we're not as good as fucking BJJ where they like actually get you in the exact same position, but we try. It's an amateur fucking hour show. Of course it is. We're all amateurs. But that's what we're the goal. The goal is we yell stop fight, everyone goes back to exactly where they were when we yelled stop fight.
Nice.
And then
I like that. That's
cool. And before anyone gets sat or anything, we talk to each other and figure out what happened and what the penalty will be. Right? So like one of my other big problems is that people are not refs by the IMCF rules. I haven't read the HMB rules in a while. And actually I haven't read the IMCF rules. So this may have changed. 2 years ago, when I was very familiar with the rules, there was no power granted to refs to sit fighters during a fight unless there was an armor failure or they fucked up on the rail. Those were the only two places you were explicitly allowed to sit fighters, and then under penalties, there was no point you can sit a fighter. You could give verbal warnings, yellow cards, or red cards. So that's when I was reffing a lot at the hall. That's what I started doing, and I think that's still how we do it. But like, so if someone breaks a rule, right? They hit you in the in the back of the knee. They don't get sat. They get a yellow card. If they do it again, they're at a red card and they're out. Or like if it's a really bad one, they just get a red card. But you don't get sat because that's not one of the things.
We were joking for a while. I was like, okay, guys, so when we go to IMCF this year, remember that we have 1 yellow card per team. So just like remember, use it like whoever uses it. Okay, don't spam that yellow card. We're gonna need it at some point, so just use it wisely.
Don't forget the bottom's rule call replay aspect where teams clearly save up.
Officially, yeah, they save up a dispute. Yeah, that happened to us in 2017 in the women's match.
Yeah.
Where Poland, I think Poland was Ukraine that disputed one of the matches and made Chloe fight again, and she still won. And
wait, if you dispute, they just have to refight? They don't look it over again?
No, they looked at the replay and then they couldn't decide what happened, so they decided to redo from
that's
the position
that's fucking terrible. If you can't decide what happened, the call on the field states. Football solved this, motherfuckers. Watch fucking football.
Speaking of which, do you want to get to you want to start the Carnage video?
I do.
Sorry for interrupting with that. I was just that egregious ref moment was something I wanted to.
That was great.
Isn't that fucked up though?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's.
Could you imagine being a ref and you go in there and you're like, hey guys, blah 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 blah, and some dude runs in and just starts wailing right beside you.
That's fucking wild. All right, do you have the?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let me know when.
You got it up?
Yeah, let me know when you want to go.
3, 2, 1, let's go. Let's do this. All right, so I love this. I love the fucking rosters.
It's the best.
Like we can't tell like who they are exactly yet, but like it's such a good improvement. So this is Texas versus I think everyone else.
Yeah.
And immediately the line just
right away.
fell. They didn't hold their line at all. That's wild.
It's very classic for North America though.
Is not holding our line.
It's the chaos. It's the chaos meta. I brought this up in my 12s review that Europeans have a lot more respect for the line.
I don't know if I agree with that. But at least in the IMCF, we had a lot of respect for the line. We didn't push through until like we had a reason to push through, and I think I've seen.
That's true. That's true. You guys did really well in those the 16s.
Yeah, you hold, and then you push when the captain sees a point. And that's the one thing that Andre did okay.
I remember watching those matches and being like, "Nice, that was good shit."
All right, so that was just straight cast. They're a little slower this time. I'm noticing a distinct lack of poles. Are you seeing this?
Well, I mean, there's a couple.
There's a couple. There's like 4
per side.
And like I see a lot of short poles. I don't see
you got 2 on the basically monster side, but you have like 3 or 4 on the warlord side.
Those
you got
look
the guy
like
with
short axes. I'm mostly seeing.
Oh, you got that guy with the Crusader helm, just wailing with that halberd.
Yeah.
What I see a lot that I find a bit weird is fighters with pole arms who step into the grapple rather than like try to swing.
Yeah, they think that you can grapple well with a pole, but like the real advantage is the fucking
swing. Look at that guy with the Crusader helm, and just going ham.
I think the other thing, the other advantage is that the Crusader helm I think is on the monsters. Yeah, he is on the monsters.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, the PK had its own team, so there was.
Yeah, so it's Golden
It wasn't everyone.
PK
I wonder
ponchos.
Who the monsters were. I know.
Oh yeah, the guy with the octopus helm.
This is great. There's 2 teams that are fielding their own, or maybe even 3. I don't know if everyone on the Golden Horde's actually Golden Horde, but like PK has its own 12s team, and the Dallas has its own 12s team. That's wild. That's crazy.
I think there are mercs in there though, because I see some Knaz. I think Derek is in there. I think I'm looking at Derek right now.
On the Golden Horde, I think.
Yeah, I think Derek is there.
So 2 teams at least were able to field their own. I think though.
I see Brad Blackman's team in there.
Yeah, Blackman's I think still on the Golden Horde, even though he moved to Vegas. I think he still counts as an LA boy. I think they still claim him.
But it's like everybody runs into the grapple super quickly.
What the fuck? What just happened? They were just like pausing. Yeah.
Oh, nice shot there.
Why no one wants to sit and swing? I don't.
Run, get out of that grapple. Run away.
No.
Looks good. That guy in the Knyaz tabard looks like he's pretty decent.
What? I feel like people don't know. There's 3 dudes on this one PK guy, and they're just kind of letting him
run, grab him. Don't let him get to the corner where his friends are.
Or just push him in the corner and let's just throw bodies at them, I guess.
Did you see the video of the guy bashing his head on the rail when he and his friend couldn't take down the big? I was like, what the fuck is this moment?
I think that's Angel from New York, and I think his helm had popped open or something, and he was trying to fix it. His helm is notoriously shitty. And like
trying to fix his
I
helm.
think he was trying to fix his. Oh, but it could have just been he freaked out. I don't know. I don't know. Ooh. I mean, maybe use that falchion you have, big dude with the yellow belt. Okay, just kick his leg, I guess. That works too.
Get out of the. Why is like, there's. Oh, he's got two dudes in the corner there.
Yeah.
And he's just holding him for dear life.
Yeah, which like.
But it's like there's this inactive grapple there. Like Axe guys should try to run.
Yeah, there's a bunch of inactive grapples, which also
don't wrestle Gojira. What are you doing?
Isn't. Well, I mean, Gojira looks.
I know he looks like Gojira. But he's not
tired too. So like maybe do.
Don't wrestle Gojira.
Yeah.
All right, round 2.
No, they're not respecting the line at all. They're just pushing straight in. That was a nice check right off.
That was nice.
PK
he took him out right away.
Oh,
a bunch of people fell down over that dude too.
Yeah. It's the problem if you keep pushing it though. I think they lost some of their guys on that.
Oh, nice takedown in the corner, but he went down with him. Ooh, guy with the kettle helm.
So I love 12s to fight in, but man, like watching this, it still is very hard to follow everything.
It's very chaos.
Yeah. Oh, that is Derek right there.
Yeah, that's Derek for sure.
Yeah. I wanted to see nice takedown, just pulls him straight back.
Yeah. See, it's like where I was talking about this with camera angles. Like, stop changing the angle. Just set me up at one location, and I'm good. Maybe with like a zoom in the corner.
Particularly for 12s, like I think we need to see the whole field the entire time.
Nice.
So Golden Horde versus the Warlords. I think Warlords are gonna take this one.
All right.
Do you have a thought? Oh, look how deep they push. They don't even have their line. And
Warlords has been doing very well this whole tournament.
They were, but like
I think it's a good bet.
The way they just let their line get fucking pushed back into.
Did he just hit his friend?
Yes.
He just hit his friend in the back.
Yeah.
No, he's just
I saw that.
What the fuck was that? He's just like got bloodlusted. Just hit whoever was closest to him in that one moment.
Yeah.
Just went insane.
It looks like it's come down to individual battles, so I think Warlords.
That looked like a nice little shot to the back there. Oh!
Oh, what are you doing?
Oh, why'd you go down with him?
Yeah, don't jump over the top of someone you're twice the size of.
Axe guy, swing.
Both Axe guys swing.
Oh my god.
Oh, there we go.
Swing.
Now he's swinging. Now he's swinging.
Yeah.
Oh,
get out! Oh, nice.
Just everyone's just suiciding.
Both going down.
Everyone's just suiciding everywhere.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be a higher level wrestling game.
Yeah. Just across the board.
Just across the board.
I'm myself is very included in that. I can stay up, but like my takedown.
This is good to know. My whole game now is going to be like insane takedowns now.
I mean, that's
shoulder throws, like throw you out of the list and shit, like fucking do psycho moves and stuff.
Dude, I dare you to pull off a fireman's carry. I dare you. I dare you. Is this Brett or Craig? I think this is Craig.
In the corner, like in the Warlord?
Yeah.
The Warlord.
That was sick. That was
beautiful.
Sick. That was sick.
Dope. Take him down, bro.
I can't tell if that's Craig or Brett.
Get the underhook.
That's so good. That's so good.
That was dope.
Yeah,
that was dope.
They can't let Warlords get into. Oh man. Do something with that backfield run, boys. But they can't let it turn to 1v1s. The Warlords, I think, are just better on the 1v1.
Oof. It's everybody gets into the grapple right away.
Yeah.
Like there isn't a lot of positioning, and but there's not much team strategy. It seems it's just like everybody go.
So here's the thing: is like I want to see like pack tactics. Like I want to see two people trying to work together when the chaos happens. Like try to run with a buddy, and everyone seems to just run on their own.
Cross check in the corner, but both go down.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, where these guys are going down with the people they check.
Because they just run way too fucking hard into it.
I guess you're too leaned over. You got to really like maintain better posture. Cross check up.
Yeah.
Not forward.
Or just pause, like hit them and fucking like a block, like a football block. You just as you hit, you fucking explode off.
Bam.
I'm demonstrating for the people who can't see because I've put up this.
That could have been a really nice trip. I like it when people charge up and they're all like this, so you can really easily
just like step out
yeah.
and fucking.
You just do kind of like an Uchimata kind of a thing, where they come in and you just
Yes.
kind of stick your
Yes.
leg in between one of their legs.
Yep.
It's good when you have a two-hand axe because you can block the charge and then turn and trip.
All right, Warlords are definitely losing this. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, oh! Why are you punching when you have the mace? Swing with the mace.
I mean, don't have a mace. First of all.
Well, don't have a mace, but when you have a weapon, your punch isn't going to do more than your weapon. Your weapon can hit shit that hurts more.
And the weapon will make the punch harder most of the time. Like you do the punch because you're in close and you can't swing it. It's the only time with a weapon, I think. Oh, fucking the big dude that in the center, that Angel. That's the guy who's banging his head. He's limping already. Like watch him limp on that way in. Look at this giant gap. Combi hit the gap. Combi hit the gap. He's too. Oh, they cut away during the run. They cut away as soon as he made the run. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but now it's super chaos. It's super chaos anyway.
Yeah, but like I want to know what happened. Did that work or not?
Oh, that guy's running. You're not watching that guy either.
Yeah. Why we don't get to see running plays? Why would that be important?
I don't know where he is.
All right. So.
Where is he?
Also, I can't tell who's who.
I got guy with the axe who's swinging. These guys who are swinging, these guys are smart.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see that? He fucking hit him in the chest and dropped him. Oh, he's fucking
Why would you jump like that?
Oh, that axe is in the helm. That axe is in that dude's helm. Oh, no, it's not. I thought it was. It looked like that was in his fucking
Why
helm.
would you jump like that, bro? You didn't have to do that. He just went in and he's like, blah, took the dude down like that. I'm like, dude.
I'm going back. Did you see fucking... So, Austin...
You're going back? Where are you going?
Go to 10. Go to 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Let's do this.
All right. So, fucking... the dude swinging that giant axe with the half-painted helm drops a dude there.
Oh,
His next shot he's going to swing... It looks like it goes into the dude.
Oh, like right into his face, yeah.
It looks like it's in his helmet.
It does. It does go into his face. It just GG'd him.
Yeah.
It did something to him. He let go of it and it was stuck in his shit.
Stuck. And now he's just still wrecking people. That's Austin, by the way, from Texas. He's a fucking monster. Farm boy, gigantic, farm strength.
Ow.
And it looks like he finally learned how to swing. When he first started, he was just strong. But, why did he stop?
It's great to see so many people fighting. It's like, imagine if no COVID, how big this tournament could have been.
Dude.
This tournament could have been like fucking massive.
So imagine. So the other thing is, this tournament only allowed people who wanted to compete for the U.S. slot. Like, imagine this tournament, but like we let everyone come. Like, imagine you guys coming down. Imagine some Mexico teams coming up. And like, I didn't want to go to Botan, and I'm not sure I wanted to go to fucking IMCF. Not just because of COVID, but like, I just not sure. Like, but like, that's like, this could have been a fucking, you know, full in non-COVID times, like a 200-man tournament.
Yeah, it could have been massive
if we let people fucking come, but we don't.
Well, I guess the idea was that like they did. Oh, like Bam Bam just like trying to punch, not even swinging, just like.
What's wild? He knows how to swing a sword. He's from the SCA.
Isn't he a duke?
No, he's just
a
king. He's just a dude. He's just a thug.
Is he a knight?
No, he's just a thug.
He's not even a knight.
He's not even a knight, but he's an okay fighter. Like, he knows how to swing a sword.
I thought he was one of those dudes who was up there.
He has a rep in his area, but like, I don't know how much of that is for like the fact that he wrecks people when he hits them, and also like he doesn't have his knight partly for not wanting to play the game, but it also might partly be he's just not that good at sword fighting. I don't know. I mean, he's also like...
He's just going with punches. He's just throwing bombs.
Yeah.
His whole game is bombs.
Yeah. And they hurt. I've been punched by them. They're not nice.
Look at those guys just axing. I like how there are some people who are swinging. Like, good. It's like you're doing the right thing. I'm proud of you guys.
It's better. You
guys are smart.
And like some of them are fucking dropping people, like Austin in that last one.
Swing is important, man. You gotta swing.
I saw some one-hit drops. There's again no respect for the line, and
but you run in when you don't run in like that. Like a lot of people, you always die when you do that.
Yeah, you gotta run in with a group.
You always die when you run directly into all of their dudes, all alone with your head down.
What is this dude doing? Like, weird like duals pole arm shots. His hands are super wide. That's a dude with a straight up glaive. Those things don't hurt.
Oh no.
Are they gonna let him keep fighting?
Whatever. Yeah, I think it's just a whatever. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. All right.
Now you have Micah on that team too. Micah versus Brad.
No, this is Micah Krug, not Micah. Not the
Nelson.
polar Micah. Yeah.
I just saw Micah.
Yeah.
I didn't pay enough attention.
There's two Micahs.
I blame the halfling's leaf.
There's also two Krugs. Micah got his brother Dan Krug involved, and that dude is apparently like an actual MMA dude. He's opened up a gym.
Nice.
There's so much fucking like we just turn into these piles. I don't know how to stop.
That's what I'm telling you, man.
I don't know how to stop this.
But that's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
Remember? And you were like, nah, and I was like, yeah. Well, now you see that I am correct.
I mean, I see that you're correct with these guys.
In this one instance, yeah, I know.
Oh, Jesus! Another one-shot drop, yeah. Dude. There's some high-level fucking polesmanship, though.
There's some people who did really well.
Mid to high-level polesmanship.
There's been some good shit at this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the best fighters.
It just makes me think like, man, imagine if like this was a national level tournament where just everybody could go.
Yeah.
Like an open. Bro.
Dude, I'm telling you, this would be so dope. If we the thing is, I think in North America we can do tourneys that rival anything that they can do in Europe in time.
We have to centralize.
We have to just get everyone to show up, and this would have been a great time for that had it not been COVID.
The league battles is not good. Having so many leagues is not good.
I mean, you're right, but I don't foresee a solution there. So
there isn't. I'm just saying having so many leagues is not good. Having so many organizations is not good. Like the blah 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 presented by blah 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 in conjunction with blah 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 hosts this tournament. Special thanks to blah 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 and blah blah blah.
Did you see the guy with the fucking hand axe punching with his hand axe?
There's been a lot of really good stuff here.
Yeah, it's been some
big teams too,
and then also some not so good stuff.
It's just incredible to think that we're still at the ground level.
Yeah,
of our sport.
That was so crazy. That's so crazy.
That we're still at the ground level.
Yeah. Oh, why is no one hitting that guy?
It's great because we're young too.
That guy? Look, he's on the rail.
Too.
Yeah.
We're still young. We have many years. I
am old as fuck. I don't know what you're talking about. I was old when I was 25, so I'm in my 30s now. I'm basically ancient. Oh! Yes! Nice pickup.
Out of position.
Yeah, I just saw the guy.
Jumped right in. Oh! At least you went down with a dude.
Yeah, that was a good hang on.
Why you have an axe? Why are you going in? I guess you took down a guy. Okay, I'm not going to criticize you then. You're trying.
I mean, I think that might be Brett.
Swing.
Their best grappler besides.
Swing. You have friends grappling right beside you. No, your friends right beside you. Could have just been like, haha. Why run away? Why run into the grapple? Yeah, I guess you're taking people out.
Do you see this on the fucking far rail right in front of us? They're fighting against each other.
Cumby,
you have a weapon! Swing your goddamn weapon! Well, it worked at least.
That's what I was just saying. It's like, all right, well, I guess it works.
Yeah, it usually doesn't.
You want to grapple? That's all right. See it here, down in the right again. It's like you just get into the grapple.
We're gonna see if they do it right. Is the shield
switch?
They're not.
Come on! No, why are you walking away? Why would you walk away? The guy. I
don't know.
Okay, I guess you're coming to save. You're coming to save Cumby.
Maybe, but now you're just standing there.
Not really.
Swing on somebody.
You're not.
Swing on somebody.
You're just doing nothing, and you have a million free targets.
Yeah.
And now you swing like.
He
did he just take the ground?
He took the guy's weapon.
Okay. No, I guess that's all right. But this guy should be way more active.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. And
this guy should be so much more active. Maybe he's tired.
Oh, that's not. I don't know who that is.
You're gonna get wrecked by Gojira.
I think that might be one of their new guys, actually. Brett was telling me about this new dude they have, Adam, who's he's only a year in, but he's a very good runner and he's picking some stuff, but he's really trying to figure it out as a formula.
Yeah. So it would nice.
It would make sense that that's the dude who's fucking he hasn't figured it out yet, so he's trying to think on the field, and you can't think on the field. Switch. Let your axeman swing.
Oh!
That was almost a heroic.
That was sick right there.
All right, I think that's. Oh, we got one more. It's the last one, and then I gotta be done after this.
Alrighty.
It was good though.
Squid Man.
I love that dude. I love his fucking
Squid Man.
helmet.
Oh, it goes right in. Oh, he almost got taken down.
But he's up. He's still up.
But he's still up.
He's broken them apart. They could do something.
Going again with that grapple. You shouldn't have gone in with that grapple, my dude. Go Cumby. Yeah,
see this dude?
Yeah, take him down. Nice.
This fucking
help your friend.
There were a couple of dudes just on the right, just standing there. Oh! What?
It's like at the same time, 12s can just be fun, right?
12s are just fun.
12s are just fun.
I'm
really excited for mass battles. That's something I really want to do. I think that's gonna just be so great.
They're so good, man. Come to Blood and Steel. That's in September. You'll have your vaccine.
I hope.
Nope, you will.
You saw the thing Jay posted, the flanker wars, bro. We're going down to 180. Let's go fight.
I didn't see
Let's
that.
Go fight small dudes. Let's go fight small dudes.
HMB hated the squid. HMB sucks. Damn it! I'm not supposed to say that anymore. I mean, HMBs.
You can say that. Why not? What, do you have sponsorship?
No, I'm trying to be less negative about shit, and with the exception of one specific human, I'm trying to not hate on people who are trying to make the sport better. And HMB is trying.
They are trying.
And some of the stuff they're doing is dope.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying, man.
It
just sucks that IMCF isn't keeping up.
That's what really is annoying, right? So part of the reason HMB got so good is because IMCF showed up and they had to step up their game. And now that HMB's better, why is IMCF not being we have to step up our game or we're gonna not matter?
They already don't matter. It's already irrelevant.
IMCF is. I think they're on the border. I think they have 2 years to pull it together. But if
they're irrelevant. What? Okay, so what's relevant from IMCF to the modern North American Boohurt?
I mean, ACS still does more events than any other thing, and they still run the IMCF tournament. ACW actually probably does more events than HMB, and they run the IMCF rule set. Plus, IMCF is always going to be on the off year, right? So that's the big tournament on the off year from Botten. So it's still hanging on. It's still hanging on, but it's...
Yeah, but there are no IMCF events.
I mean, I would argue that ACS and ACW are IMCF events. They're IMCF rule sets.
But they're not IMCF events. They're not like Boohurt League.
I mean, a bunch of HMB events aren't Boohurt League. They're just HMB events.
No, but in the sense that there's no persistent league with rankings and stuff, and there's no specific ladder for qualifying.
There's no
structure to it. They just kind of make a national team, however the fuck you want, and then send them to this tournament. Every country gets one team.
They don't need to do that though, right? They don't need to build a league, and I don't think they should because HMB's doing it, and they're gonna be behind. But
if you want to be relevant, you have to be you
have to do something. Yeah. They're not doing anything.
That's what I'm saying.
But they still have a little relevance because they still have the IMCF on every other year, and people still want to go this year. People still showed up to AMCF.
Sure, because it's a thing.
Right.
Because it's the thing. I don't take that away, and I'm not saying that isn't a reason to go to it. I want to go because I have reasons that I want to go too. I'm just saying it's not if we're talking advancing the sport, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking the future of the sport, IMCF is not the future of the sport right
now.
At
the moment, I agree.
Could be, maybe, sure.
I'm hopeful that, but I mean, that's the thing, right? The reason HMB is the future of the sport now is because IMCF pushed them to be.
Well, Boohurt League makes Battle of the Nations, in my view, almost irrelevant. Boohurt League, I think, is really the future because Boohurt League is club focused.
It may be the
club
future.
Focused. I think it just takes time. It just takes time because we're already starting to do Boohurt League shit here because they're down with working with North America, which is big, which means that there's all kinds of chances for kinds of crossovers and stuff.
Sure.
So it's going to create, if we can have a unified ranking system that everybody starts to get into, that isn't national, right? That's club. And there's you can rank your club amongst other people's clubs. That's going to give people the incentive to go to events more, and it's going to create bigger events just in general, maybe national team events.
But like, so here's in America, most HMB fighters just want to go. Like, I have a fucking survey data about that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
And like most of the we'll see if that's the thing that pulls people over. But Botten I think will always be the big thing. Well, maybe not always. Always is wrong.
Prime and Dynamo.
Botten is going to stay the big thing for a while because a lot of people aren't honestly in the sport to be good fighters. They're in the sport because putting on armor and fighting in armor is fun. And until we come up with a different way of doing that, till we come up with a beer league where people can just put on armor and fuck around, Botten is the big thing because people are like,
League is that.
No, Boohurt League is not the beer league. It is the opposite.
It's the challenger level. It is.
No, it's the
challenger level.
No, it's not. The challenger level.
I'm not talking masters because they have like challenge. Like they have like 4 levels of.
Yeah,
of League.
and their beginners level is still competitive. And the problem is what makes you better isn't how good you are. It's how much you want to suck Authenticity's dick.
No.
No. That's how you advance.
No, that goes down. That just goes down. Authenticity is all about making the right armor choices the first time, because I see people encouraging people to buy whatever they want. And I say, buy whatever you want, but you should buy something that's historical because it gives you the most options.
We should shut down the entirety. We should shut down the entirety of AC. We should make the demand so popular that AC has to die. That's what we should do. We should invite more fucking sports bros in.
I don't want it to be LARPing.
Yeah, I don't want it to be LARPing either.
Medieval is cool. Let's be medieval. I don't want orc armor.
Yeah, don't build orc armor. Build whatever armor you want.
But I don't want to fight orc armor. I want cool ass medieval battles.
Then go do reenactment like a bitch.
No, I don't want to do reenactment. I like how Boohurt's structured. Why are you coming in and being all like, all right, we have to make Lord of the Rings now?
I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying fight in whatever you want to fight because it's about the fighting. It's about the fighting.
It is about the
you're
fighting.
Like saying that people shouldn't be able to wear Nikes to fucking play basketball. You got to wear Adidas only. Fuck that shit. Wear whatever shoes you want. That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying.
Nope, that's what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm
saying that's the purpose. I was just saying that the purpose of the costuming of the sport, part of the fun is to be historical.
That's not the sport. That's the costuming. Part of the fun of costuming. But
you're gonna make the argument of there's no value in doing anything historical at all.
No, I'm gonna argue that the sport gains no value from it. There's a bunch of things that do. The SCA, reenactment, living history, LARP, those gain a lot of value from it. The sport gains nothing. The sport loses a shit ton because it's a bunch of you're trying to do something that isn't sport in your sport. Don't bring your not sport and put it in sport. Do sports stuff in sports. Do not sports stuff in not sport.
So you don't think that HMB is a crossover of the two? It's called historical medieval battle. Like historical is in the name.
I do think
and
it's
medieval is in the name.
I do think it's a historical.
It's kind of like the mission statement of the shit.
I think that's the problem.
Battle.
No, that's the problem though. Like I think
you don't think that's
a
draw?
Okay.
Let's
stop.
Hold on. No. Yeah, hold on. Let's break something down for a second because it started in Europe and Russia and shit, right? And Europe and Russia have immediate cultural connections to the historical medieval shit. That's where it happened. Yeah. Whereas we don't have those cultural connections in terms of like where we're located in the world. So I mean, I can understand from your perspective why you're saying that doesn't hold value for you, because in your worldview, you have no emotional or personal connection to it. Whereas,
I don't want to dress up like a cowboy. Stop. I don't want to dress up like a cowboy either. Right? I don't want to.
I've seen you wearing a cowboy hat.
Yeah, because Cumby's cowboy hat's dope.
I'm just saying.
But like, if I wanted to do,
want to dress up like a cowboy.
If I want to go do competition shooting, I don't want to go dress up for it. And there are cowboy events where it's competition shooting, but it's also how much do you look like.
Then why not have standardized equipment? Because if how we get dressed up doesn't matter, don't you want like?
Would you define standards?
So like how do
we have standards for armor?
Yeah,
that's
but like
good.
no, but in terms of aesthetics.
Why have aesthetic?
Why not just have everybody be the same like gray blob?
Because no sport does that. That's not a sport.
Well, yeah, they do. Either. Everybody has each team has their own tabard.
Every team should have its own tabard.
So should every team have the same armor?
No, not every person on every team has the same baseball glove, has the same shoe. unless the team is sponsored by that. But
don't they?
No, they don't.
That kind of the point, though.
No, a bunch of them have different. Like in basketball,
I guess individual players are like.
Yeah. In fact, usually you wear the one that you personally are sponsored by, not the one your club is sponsored by.
Okay. Right? I'm down to see ground there.
So, Greg is, Greg in the chat says HMB Bohart League works a very top-down style. We need a more collaborative style league with a common style and rule set. I agree. I think that like we should stop doing things the way the Euros do it, because fuck the Euros. Like,
that's not very open-minded and PC of you, Ringo. I'm very surprised. I'm very disappointed in you.
Yeah, I'm bad at this positivity thing.
You have to be like nice to everybody all the time.
I have to be nice to
understanding.
No one.
Not their fault they're born in Europe. That's where they're born.
Good. They should do great things in Europe. Do great things in Europe. Really. Really, it's not in America, in like the States and in particular the States and Canada, because our border is more porous, but like the Mexico border is still semi-porous. That like we have enough people that we do not need to be doing the same thing they do, and we have a different set of values. And even if we didn't have a different set of values, waiting on them to tell us what to do means we're waiting on them, and there's no need to wait. There's no need.
But do you want to fight the best in the world or not?
You can do both.
Okay.
You can do
Question
both.
one.
Stop. Stop.
But are you assuming people have infinite money?
No, I'm not.
Okay, so if people don't have infinite money and armor is expensive, shouldn't you encourage them to buy armor that would allow them to fight against people who are the best in the world?
Because most people who are going to start fighting aren't going to be good enough to start fighting the best in the world.
Yeah, but armor lasts for a long time, and it's hard to replace that initial investment. So
no, it's not that hard. You don't lose that much money selling used armor. You lose less than 50%. Unless you buy shitty armor that doesn't hold its value, you don't lose 50% of your value. And honestly, usually with whatever
depends on the condition.
Whatever kit you buy, you can also make small modifications to make it work for HMB. And that's the thing. You have years to get there. You have years to get there.
But if the dominant meta is to become the HMB meta...
Hold up. You originally said, is there a draw to fighting to the historical? Of course there's a draw. Right. I literally just did a survey on this. There's a bunch of people who said, yeah, that's an important thing to me. But the thing is, that being important is that it's important to them as that's a thing they like doing. But that doesn't mean it's a thing that's important to the sport, right?
Agreed.
So my problem is that HMB is not that they have authenticity at all, is that they have authenticity while trying to be a sport. And like, I do not think you can do two things that are in direct conflict with each other well. And they are. AC does not make better sport. It makes better reenactment. Like,
Agreed.
Like, well, the weapons and the armor at the time
because it doesn't evaluate safety.
Well, correct. For one, the weapons and the armor at the time were designed to do a different thing than what we're doing. So
also correct.
So they're not optimized for us, right? And like, there's a reason titanium's allowed, because it's optimized. It's not authentic at all. It's 100% bullshit.
Agreed.
So like, the whole idea
as a wearer of titanium,
the idea that like we want to be authentic, there's a value in that. I believe in it in the SCA. I believe it in a bunch of other spaces. But like,
I agree with being less restrictive.
HMB has a separate area for people to be as period as possible. Let's do that. Have a tournament that's all about being authentic as fucking possible. But understand that that's not your sport. And most sports people don't care and aren't going to care. And the people who want to fight in the best in the world for a while will do that so that they can fight there.
I will see this.
They're going to constantly...
I will see this.
No, I'm not done yet. The people who want to be the best in the world will constantly chafe under the idea of authenticity, but will do the bare minimum to get by.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say precisely that I don't want to have an authentic kit because I want to be period. That's not why I want one. I want an authentic kit, or as authentic as I can, so that I can get by. It's specifically so I can get by the AC.
Exactly.
I will only do the bare minimum I need to do to get by, so that I can be in the most competitive environment.
Right.
That's the only reason I do it, not because I want to, but only because I have to.
Right.
If I can get away with anachronisms that don't make me look not medieval, like having 2 eye bars instead of 1, or having like a tabard with what I want on it, or like having, like, you know what I mean? Like shoulders that are slightly bigger or some shit, something that doesn't make me not look the part, then I'm okay with that. You know, like, I don't see why I can't have Sabatons that have 3 lambs, and why they have to have 5 lambs, and like why I have to have shoes that are like this instead of having shoes that are like that. I see all of that ground, and I always do. But what I want to do in terms, and maybe perhaps this is just me projecting, because this is what I want as a sportsman for our community, is I always want the pursuit of greatness. That's what I always want, right? So it's like, I think we should do the thing that gets us the most options to fight the people who are the best.
Right. So but that's the difference, is you want to go to where they're the best, and I want to say, fuck that, let's make the best over here. And like, yes, we can't do that right away, but if we start making it easier for people here to fight, and just say, hey, stop worrying about fighting over there, fight over here more, like, focus domestically, and like, that's the way to get people, like, get whatever armor you want to do, come fight, go to whatever fights you can, fight as much as possible here, let's do it here. We will eventually be able to compete with them and be the best in the world.
I don't disagree with that. Okay. I like the idea of more domestic shit. I'm a big supporter of more. Yeah. I'm down to go. I want to go to as many big tournaments, North American and Central American, whatever, like American tournaments as possible. I think that's dope. I fully support that. It's just, I think that the dominant structure, right, leans towards perhaps, and like I said, I'm not like I only do as much authenticity as I possibly can to pass the rules, because I'm competitive. I'm not about the authenticity, but I think that some amount of it is appropriate for the sport, because there's like,
no, it's not.
Like, I think somebody said it in the chat. I think it was G-Fabric. G-Fabric,
Greg. That's Greg Fabric.
Somewhere in the sport.
There's
like, are we doing medieval fighting? Yeah, are we doing medieval fighting, or are we doing weapon team fighting?
I mean, that's the thing, right? Historical medieval battle is historical medieval battles, but in the US, it's armored combat. That's what the majority of people do, is armored combat, fighting in armor. It's not.
But that's just because you've chosen it to market it that way in order to distance yourself from that brand and create your own brand. That's a marketing strategy.
It's a marketing strategy, but also, if you talk to like people, most people just want to show up and hit each other. And like, there will be people who say, I want to do it in period kit, and then you start talking about what period kit is, and they're like, I take that back. The thing that makes people go chafe is they go, oh yeah, I don't want orcs and elves. And the reason people say they don't want orcs and elves is because they're like, that's gonna make me a LARPer. Like, it's 100%. No, that's why.
Well, yes, that's 100%. Yes, partially, yeah. Because,
but like, here's the thing. No one is really,
because it also looks silly.
No one is gonna show up at the highest level wearing orc armor. Because,
I so disagree.
Because
people will literally troll.
Not at the highest level.
They will literally become trolls.
Not at the highest level. At the highest level, no one's gonna be wearing orc and elf armor, because orc and elf armor is not the most optimized.
That's what I'm saying.
People will make optimizations that whatever works, and it may end up looking like orc armor or looking like fucking cybertech future shit. Like, we don't know what the optimized thing for the sport is.
Cybertech future.
Like, yeah, you might have
future robot. You're like Master Chief armor.
Yeah, who knows what the actual
Doom guy armor.
Right, because again, the armor for the period is not meant for the sport. It's meant for for war.
The armor of the period wasn't meant for the sport at the time they were doing it in history.
It was meant for the war.
It was meant for war, and they were just
which is a different thing.
It's completely different thing. I entirely agree.
So there are probably a bunch of optimizations, and like, that's what we're gonna see more of. And then in the beer league level, where people are really just fucking around in the beer league, yeah, you'll have people who show up in orcs. But guess what? The people who are in the beer league level want
just
that.
The amount of money shit costs.
The people in the beer league level just want to go hit their friends.
But it's the amount of money shit costs though. It's like if you're gonna spend $800 on a helmet, shouldn't you like future proof and be like, you know,
you can't future proof. They change the AC every year. You can't future proof.
That's true. That's rough. You're right. I'll give you that. All
right.
That's true. You can't future proof in our sport.
Anyway.
Can you past proof?
I gotta stop.
All right.
This is great.
It was good. It was fun, man.
Thank you everyone who's still here. I don't know if it's anyone besides Greg. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, man. This was a good time.
Yeah, man.
Peace out, everybody.
Peace.